Busy Daddies do Sci-Fi.
All right.
What's up, LA? Hey.
Oh, murder was the case that they gave me.
Yeah, it was, man.
It was, man.
Crimpin'?
Crimpin' is...
Is that not lampin'?
Crimp is a short song developed by the guys from the TV show The Mighty Boosh. Crimp. Yeah.
Is that not to be confused with crimpin' my style?
No, that's crampin' my style.
But you just say it crimpin'?
No, you don't say it
like
crimpin'.
You're crimping your bangs?
You're cramping my style. You're not crimping my style.
Are you sure?
No. I'm not.
Cramping.
I'm entirely uncool.
Cramping
My style.
I can't.
You're cramping my style, like the cramps.
Nothing. I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
Yeah. What happened?
Who are we?
Well, first of all, guys, we're here in the middle of the night. This is an emergency response podcast.
We don't want to be doing this.
The podcast phone rang.
It rang. We were both out to dinner with our respective families. The red phones we keep in our pockets at all times started flashing.
On vibrate.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Started flashing and vibrating, and that meant we had to get to the pod cave as quickly as we possibly could.
Because some shit went down.
Something
in
landed.
LA.
Something landed. Nobody was ready for it.
Mm-hmm. But if you've seen a bus go by, you've seen its advertisements.
Yeah, if you've driven half a mile, you've seen a billboard for it, especially in the greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys in Iowa, actually.
No, not any billboards.
Do they have Stranger Things yet?
They'll get it next year.
They'll get it next year.
Well, they'll get the first season. Yeah.
That with Air Jordan remakes.
Yeah.
Remakes? No.
And then The Matrix will come out there. And yeah, so there was bombarded with advertisement. We are sort of in the land of Netflix marketing in the greater Los Angeles area, and we're talking about another Netflix original, man. Netflix is cranking them out right now.
Yeah.
Series, movies, like, they seemingly have just a ton of money to do whatever the hell they want with. And, well, who are we, man?
Us?
Yeah, tonight.
We're bright douchebags declaring shit job fantasy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's a little... Just turn the lights down.
It's bright.
Oh!
Dude, I just stepped in that like a pile of cow shit.
I thought I was going to have to do it, and you did it for me.
That was a
man.
trick segue.
Trick segue. Worked beautifully. Worked masterfully. Went off without a hitch. Unlike the movie we're going to be talking about tonight, we're talking about the movie Bright. Brought to us by...
That wasn't a movie.
Kevin?
It was a series of unfortunate events.
All right. But I'm going to have to disagree with you right off the bat here, because it fulfills every qualification for being a movie. You know, there was a guy who actually directed it. His name is David Ayer.
Yeah, just like fantasy science fiction. George, we get it.
Oh, do you?
We're not here to argue the finer points. We're here to prove a point.
Which is?
Bright's not a movie.
So at the end of this podcast...
Just 43 more minutes of this, folks.
We'll be able to possibly sit with the conclusion that either Bright is or is not a movie, depending on Kevin's definition of such. David Ayer, who brought us the Suicide Squad movie.
Great children's movie, that one.
Oh, boy. That was not a...
If you're really into Marvel, bring the kids, right?
It's a DC movie, Kevin.
Oh, God. Well, that explains it, actually. Yeah, doesn't it?
Pile of crap. Did you see it?
DC is blundering. No, I don't see DC stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad, beginning to end. So he's back now, and he's brought
Jared
Will Smith
Leto was
with
in
him.
that.
Yeah, as
doing
the Joker.
some magic stuff.
Yeah.
Now, was he good?
No, he was terrible.
So Jared Leto's just starting to be bad.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
He was great in Dallas Buyers Club.
He was great in Dallas Buyers Club. Well, was he?
I don't know. He was. You know what? I didn't go. That sucked.
Yeah, he's a big.
So maybe he passed in that movie.
He's a big method guy. We've talked about this before. Like he was apparently the Joker the entire time.
Speaking of method acting,
yes.
Is it true you removed 2 of your teeth to slip into the character of the bad boy at the bad boy jock at the New Year's Eve murder party?
It was entirely necessary. Yeah,
We
that's
could
right.
feel the pain.
I knocked out 2 of my own teeth so that I could feel what a linebacker in high school might have felt when he got his own teeth knocked out. We went to a murder mystery 1980s prom party. That's a mouthful.
You know what? I'll just say this. That murder mystery was more complex than this movie we're speaking about.
Yeah.
And that was people with wine in their hands wearing shitty 80s outfits.
Both of them needlessly convoluted, though.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I mean. That murder mystery was more complex than what Bright laid on us.
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me?
Look,
there was like a double blind. There was like 2 red herrings. George liked Bright.
I liked it. I did.
Tell me why.
So
Tell the listeners why, George.
We jump right in to this world, and we're in recognizable Los Angeles.
1990s Los Angeles.
I mean, we don't know what year it is.
We can tell by...
But there are certain things going on that immediately... Okay, so we've got Will Smith as an LAPD officer, and he's riding shotgun with an orc. And he's in LAPD gear. This is the first orc to become part of the Los Angeles Police Department.
Stupid.
There are hints at a story in which it goes back thousands and thousands of years. At one point, humans were united with elves, and the orcs turned against them. There's this whole story with the Dark Master. All of this happens pretty seamlessly. And for us to be introduced to a world where we see dragons flying by, we are introduced to an elf town, which is off limits, and only rich, upper-class elves live there, without it being ham-fisted. And I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about the introduction to a complicated world. That impresses the hell out of me. It impresses the hell out of me to just be thrown in. There's no hand-holding. Here you go. Here's the Los Angeles Police Department headquarters. It's surrounded like a base in Fallujah because bad shit happens in this world. There's fairies flying all over the place into bug zappers. There's like 5 different wars going on between like the Latin American gangs and the orc gangs. And then the elves seemingly are snobby and fucking hate everybody. There's some who work for the feds. There's a federal department of magic. All this stuff is like unveiled in a pretty cool way.
Did it dawn on you that this was a battle of 9 races and they only could somehow show us 4? It is not cool.
You know, I
guess Dragon is 5th.
I did not pick that up. Well,
I don't... It doesn't mean shit. I saw the same thing. That was not well done. That was blast effect. Cheap. Poor. It felt fast. It felt like they needed to make a movie into. It felt like they needed to do this for like TV or something. This did not feel like an unlimited budget. This felt like shit. This felt like ABC movies.
No,
this felt like stuff. This felt like bad miniseries. That's what it felt like. It reminded me of stuff that came out when we were younger people. When you kind of suffered through something that you thought would be cool.
Like what? Like V?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I was too young to know if V was actually cool or not. But like of that feeling.
Yeah, I got more of a professional feel from it than V. It didn't feel like a movie I was going to see in the theater. I will agree on that. It did feel
like it didn't. It wasn't like it didn't feel like you picked a movie that had been in the theater and pressed play on Netflix.
No, it felt like the volume was turned down a bit. It felt like it was
and like like you could just see how the regular Los Angeles was just right on the edge of the shots. It didn't feel blockbuster.
I thought it introduced really cool concepts, and I thought that it. I thought the idea of a ancient prophecy in modern day Los Angeles was a pretty cool thing, and I liked
like Ghostbusters.
I liked. Well, that's New York. All right.
I see.
Yeah.
It's
Do you?
Twist. So George, the cop,
Jacoby.
Do you remember not Jacoby, Ward, Will Smith's character?
Yeah.
Do you remember how canned his neighbors, the gangsters, seemed?
Now I want to stop here for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of hokiness. There's a lot of filler and a lot of crap that contributes to an overall kind of terrible story.
One might say, no. The terrible story. Forget terrible story. A series of unfortunate events. Someone somewhere said, let's put the ghetto barbecue in this cop's next door neighbor's front yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this was bad.
What you're taking issue with
it overshadowed in that. Oh God.
I'm not defending that stuff, and I'm not saying that that's not.
I can't believe
that's not bad. What I'm saying is, this did something for me that sort of let me push that shit to the back and I just kind of unraveled, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I like this. I like that there are elves who are elitist, and I know that's kind of like a standard of Tolkien and whatnot, but I like the guys who are working for the feds. I like the two characters who are in internal affairs. I thought that they were great for like the 2 minutes that they're on screen. I liked the idea that Ward does not want this guy in his car because it's a fucking, he doesn't want the orc in his car.
I didn't believe it. I think Ward was a nice enough guy. I didn't believe that chummy like cop movie shit, that tired retread stuff of like
I loved that.
Of like we're still not friends and both like beat up, laying on each other at the end and shit. Like,
oh, that was terrible. That was awful.
So
okay,
I see that
you're
saying
awful.
You're saying what, Kev? I can separate myself.
No, because here's the thing: when they're driving in the car, and it's like, okay, we've got this orc. He's a big, scary guy. You know what? Let's have him ham it up.
That orc cop is not scary, and he was lame, and he was a putz.
But that's what I mean. They're like, this is gonna be funny solely because he's saying, "But I was getting the burrito for you." Like, that is not good writing. All right, and I agree with that completely. What I'm saying is, it did something for me. All right, I liked it enough. I liked that it introduced the idea of a bright. I thought that was cool, and I thought that was total fantasy.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think that even that they called it a bright.
What's wrong with that?
It didn't work. Everything you're saying worked. It did not work on me.
All right. Well,
strangely enough, so let's just end this fucking podcast.
No,
Fuck
man.
This thing, man. Fuck this thing. And so I guess we're here to talk about what the hell works on people, and I don't think it's cool that it worked on you. I like you more than this movie. I feel you were sucked.
I appreciate that you liked me more than this movie. But I don't think it's your job to go back and go, oh, you didn't really like this movie, and let me tell you why. You know what? Of course not. I'm watching a movie, and there's an interrogation scene, and there's a guy who says, I would touch a magic wand for the chance of knowing what I really am, if I am one or not. Because if you touch a magic wand and you're not a bright, you dissolve. To me, that's kind of beautiful, and it sort of allows me to just transcend a lot of the bullshit, because there's enough moments like that in this movie that get through all the crap.
You didn't see that we needed to have that established by that guy?
Of course
so that we could see Will Smith grab it? Did you know Will Smith was going to do it when that guy in the back of the cop car told him he was blessed?
Yeah, I knew he was a bright. Yeah. And I knew it was basically countdown to when there's going to be a wand in front of him. And I'll tell you, like, by no means fucking perfect. This movie had one of the worst non-endings of anything I've ever seen. It just dissolves. It's almost like it ends on an ellipse, or it ends on a, hey, we know we're going to get a sequel because we've already got a huge... I mean, critics hated this movie. Apparently a bunch of Netflix watchers loved it. But it's already gotten a sequel, so that's bound to happen. This movie ends horribly. Like, it just dots out. You know, and I was almost left there, and I was like, "Oh,
no, but he got blooded, bro."
No, it's not. And I knew. Okay, I saw that kid, and I'm like, okay, that's the kid from the alleyway, and that's the kid. It's something that doesn't happen for me often because normally I'm sitting in your seat right now, and I'm tearing something to pieces for the minor and I'm not saying that this committed minor egregiances. Like there was a big pile of shit attached to this movie. You know, a lot of it.
Well, so what's the point? We're not going to talk people out of their enjoyment. We've established this stuff. I'm trying to dig a little deeper here. And
why do these things work for some people and why do they not work for others? I mean, well, we could probably find...
For lack of exposure, for lack of a complexity to it. I don't think...
But that's not that because what are you saying? So are you saying that this movie is enjoyed due to some ignorance?
I think this is the dulling of the senses. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was enjoyed. I didn't get the impression that it was enjoyed. I looked up a little bit about it. There was 56% of people liked it, and a male 18 to 49.
Okay.
All right. So. Of course, I mean, who else was going to be watching this? I feel that Will Smith makes movies happen because he's Will Smith.
Yeah, still.
And I feel that he didn't really use his sway. He's much more mega than this.
He was so one note in this movie, it was ridiculous. He was very...
And that's what I mean. Like, there was a cataract on that whole thing, man. Yeah. And I don't think stuff led through.
You can line up every legitimate criticism, and I will probably agree with most of them as far as this goes. The thing is, I could say the same of, like, The Last Jedi and go... There are so many legitimate criticisms for this movie, yet it poked through them. This did that to a much, much smaller degree, so that maybe it has something to do with it being fucking 11 o'clock at night when I was watching it, and I'm like, hey, there's a dragon, you know? I don't know. Or those elves are cool. Like, they're cool, and they're moving cool. And I love that they're unstoppable. And I want this dude to die. And an elf just killed him. You know, like, it satisfies some of the most simplistic shit.
But so then you go, but when the elves, when the bad elves, the Inferni elves.
Yeah.
Inferni. It reminds me of the Inferno. It must be bad.
Yeah. See that's needless.
No, I'm telling you, that's the fucking shit.
But that's what you're saying. But you're holding it to a standard that it's not gonna meet. It's a fucking comic book. So that's what I missed.
Jokes on me.
It's a comic book. I mean, it's. That's not fair for me to say because that's not to say that it shouldn't have been.
I think we know comic book here. This was a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's not a movie. What have I said?
Yeah, there it is. Oh, and we still got 12 minutes to go, everybody.
Just a couple of footnotes. The metal song that's playing in the Orc Cops squad car when Will Smith gets in is a song called Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse. In 1994, it was used in Ace Ventura. So when I start to think of the innovations or the ways that people might consider this movie, I have to go, there's someone who picked the same Cannibal Corpse song out of the bazillion other aggressive metal songs. When I heard that, I was like, I cannot believe
so that was not an actual Orc song?
No, not a song performed by Orcs.
Holy
but
shit.
you know an Orc would dig some metal. unless he was listening to hip hop in a titty bar.
Yeah.
Because he's a gangster.
Because he's a gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crippled gangster leader. He was good. This was shit.
Yeah.
It's okay that it's shit. I don't know what's gonna happen, folks. Are you gonna read more? Probably not. But the fast moving, there were so many buttons that got pressed. You know, the criticisms things, I really don't think I can slay Last Jedi like you just talked about. Like I can slay this movie.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. I know so. And there's no point in slaying this thing, but it's
like a dragon.
Yeah. 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 You know, dragons are smart.
Now,
right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't know.
You've never talked to a dragon?
Well, we don't know in this world if the dragons are smart.
Well, you'll probably find out.
Yeah, probably find out in the sequel.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be called
Take Me to a...
Bright 2?
Brighter?
Brighter?
Brighter!
Oh my god,
no,
it better be called Brighter.
Mo Bright.
Mo Better Bright.
Mo Better Bright.
A Spike Lee joint.
It felt older.
I assume that was intentional. I assumed that was that.
But like, so like to make it seem like it was like 1999.
I assumed it was supposed to feel more L.A. gangy, which hasn't really been L.A. in like the last like 20 years. You know, like L.A. was much more known for like the gangs in the 90s and whatnot. So I thought maybe they gave it that to give it a little bit more of like a timelessness, because you don't know when the hell it's supposed to take place. There is modern technology, but there's also dragons and a magical elf town. I thought the girl, Tinka, Blinka, Flinka, whatever the hell, I thought she was awful.
Horrible.
Terrible. I loved the Inferni elves. I thought they were great.
They sucked. Dude, all that fast moving shit and her look, that woman looked like people I see propped up at parties that cost too much money.
Yeah.
Like, but she was young. It was creepy.
Yeah, she didn't look tough.
It's once again, dude. They're ass kickers until they meet the heroes, and then somehow they can't quite get one over. And just over and over again, these things that we let slide by like piled up in this movie.
Prophecy.
An ancient prophecy
in modern LA.
Prophecy.
It's one thing that actually gave me a gut level response was I really did not like the depiction of the police in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who normally takes issues with this. I hated that guy with the mustache.
Because he's like from a funny show, right?
He's a comedian. Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck's he doing? Hey, you fucking orc.
And he wasn't a good dramatic actor, so like
just even Cop Locker Room.
Yeah, Cop Locker Room was bad. It was bad.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, George. Yeah. If we itemize this,
killed him by the thousands.
If we itemize this,
I don't want to itemize it. That's it. If
well,
I itemize it,
is it
absolutely.
better? Is it?
If I itemize it, then I'm.
How come there's nothing else to talk about?
How come there's no pluses in my category? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we call it plus delta. So there's pluses and then there's things they could change, right?
Right.
Right.
All right. So pluses.
You just said right. You didn't even know what I was talking about.
I don't know. Plus delta. Plus delta. I assumed it was
business is a performance evaluation term.
I know that.
You do not know
that.
Sure,
I do, man. All the performance evaluations I did this week. Come on, that's all I've been doing.
Kid, you call that eating a fucking crayon?
You know this is my busy time of year.
Yeah.
Because, Kevin, like the Grateful Dead fans used to say, if I have to explain it, you wouldn't understand. And that's it.
Well, some of them were not so bright.
Not so bright.
Not so bright.
No.
Maybe not so sober. Maybe strung out on heroin. Evading the FBI. There's a similarity for you.
I am, there we go. No, man, I mean, like, Will Smith's performance, totally one note, but still entertaining,
But that's the thing, like, I think I've got a memory, like, maybe what's wrong with me is that I kind of thought Will Smith would entertain me.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
more than
Men in Black, just like shit where you're like, dude, that's just cool and it's fun, it's fucked up. And, you know, I mean, that city looks hokey. You can tell that's New York. That's not New York City. That's a lot. You know, all the same stuff, but the guys carried it. I just didn't believe... I didn't believe it.
You didn't believe it.
Yeah. You know, we're right in the middle of Wizard of Earthsea.
Yep.
We've done our Michael Moorcock here in this room. You haven't really.
I haven't really. How are we going to talk at all about that? This is a fantasy movie that we're discussing.
Yeah.
And this is a sci-fi podcast. Like
I thought. Remember, science fiction and fantasy books have to share the same part of the bookstore. I believe that's how that goes.
All right.
Right? Isn't
that
this group's policy?
Yeah. I mean, that's a non-issue then.
I mean, come on, dude.
It's
and
just
you
like
got to go there.
We can't draw swords against each other as far as science fiction and fantasy goes, because no one will come out alive, right? It's just like we're all in this together.
I think it's
fucking
just
orcs
fine.
and cars. Don't worry. But this does actually have a lot to do.
Well, so this is alternate reality,
right? We're alternate reality. Has a lot to do with very similar to a science fiction show, Alien Nation. Science fiction movie, which became a show. You know, fish out of water. Get in my cop car. Let's go save the day.
Smoke this cop.
Smoke this,
cop.
Cop.
That's training day, right?
That's training day, yeah.
Different.
Yeah. I didn't know you'd get wet.
Oh, God. Yeah. Bad.
Yeah, bad. That's a movie that I didn't like, that everybody kind of liked.
I don't know if I liked it. I think it was tense.
It was certainly tense.
But so you were like, wow, cool. I like this collision of these worlds, so I'm okay with all these things I've seen before in the movies that make it up.
Yeah, I was just entertained.
So were you waiting for something that they delivered you? Just entertained is fine.
That's it.
But we're not here to just go, hi, folks, we were just entertained.
But it's all I got right now. Yeah. I mean, I was...
there you go.
I was just...
Was there something that they didn't deliver? What do you want to know about this world?
I wanted more of a climax. I wanted Dark Lord.
I wanted the Dark Lord to come up and do some stuff and almost win, but he wasn't going to be able to.
I wanted a better reveal that Will Smith was a Bright. I wanted them to, this is me writing the movie better, I guess. These things that happened, but they didn't happen how I wanted them to happen. But the fact that they were there,
okay,
I was still into it. I was into it when Will Smith grabs the wand, and even though I knew it was coming, I was into it. I was into it when he grabs the wand and he tosses the elf chick.
But doesn't that take his thing, like, I'm just going to blow us up? Like, that. So I'm like, dude, you're not just going to blow us up. You're obviously a Bright. You've been referred to as blessed. Every step of the way.
But he doesn't know that. We know that. I mean, that's one of the things. It's a reveal for the character, not for us. We have information he doesn't have.
You're not necessarily going to assume he was a Bright because that guy said he was blessed in that tongue. But it's entertainment, right? It's just entertainment.
It's just entertainment.
It's just entertainment.
There's some parallels going on here in this movie, huh? Right?
To what?
Well, I don't want you here. There's a...
what do you... I'm welcome here?
No, not you, but the orc. He's a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the part where you talk about it being ham-fisted?
It's completely ham-fisted.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you dive into this movie and hope to pull out like a, metaphor for racism, I just think you're gonna screw yourself in that.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's there. It's really blatant, but like, I mean, I would probably hate this movie if I tried to look at it as like a, oh wow, it's just like. Race relations.
Let's talk about the 56 million people who watched, 56%, the millions of viewers that watched this movie and watched a black officer with another persecuted race of an officer look into the eyes of another government body's members and say, there was no wand, and let's sweep this under the rug. And then let's ask ourselves, who's getting shot and what kind of cops where are saying, that guy pulled a gun. Yes, he did pull a gun. And I thought that it was sad that a movie so blatantly about who we are had its heroes agree to cover up something that the people should know.
Yeah. They had to toss in that line.
How many people have been shot and had two parts of the sheriff's department and the LAPD get together and say, we need to sweep this under the rug.
Got to sweep this one under the rug.
And there you go. And that killed it for me after all of that.
So that was it. That was the nail in the coffin for you. Idea that,
so if this is so overtly a comment, then
yeah, it contributed
they
to
fucking fucked themselves.
It contributed
maybe
to
brainwashed us.
Probably like the worst ending I've seen in a long, long time. Was the idea?
How could that actor? Isn't the dude? Please speak.
The guy at the podium at the end is like, despite rumors about 2,000-year-old fairy tales, and it basically negates like the entirety of the movie up until that point. Writing a better movie, I was hoping they were coming to him to like recruit him as part of like a federal Bright.
Well, that probably could happen. So the end of that movie also, was that just not like a police academy or like the middle of RoboCop or something? Like he's gonna get commended, then he gets shot to death. I mean, everything about it was poor joy. I was just like, are you kidding me?
I would have loved
if
they had ended with the theme from Police Academy, like the that would have been so fantastic.
And so
Commandant Lassard comes out and gives him his medal.
When in our household, when we watched this, the wife, she referred to the fact that guy who played the orc.
Yes.
His name?
Don't remember.
Steve Guttenberg.
No. No.
Anyways, the guy's like a critically acclaimed actor.
He's a great actor.
To the point where we finish this movie, and she pulls up a trailer and shows me, this dude's like a chameleon. This dude gets into parts. And I then flash back to the scene before the last scene where he and Will Smith are sitting on the bed. We haven't got to the whole corruption thing that killed me. And Orc, blundering like a ding-dong, is telling the whole story, and Will Smith's going ixnay on the Ori stay. And I don't know what business this is of mine, but I couldn't see an actor of that acclaim making those moves unless there was a gun filled with cash aimed at his scrotum.
We're gonna shoot you in
with
the
all the
balls.
money you want.
With all the money you want, man. All right, so, you can go back to Wales, and you're gonna have this big ball sack filled with dollar bills. Now, Kevin, I liked that scene, man. I liked that scene where he's fumbling through the story and he's kind of doing. While I'm watching it, the whole time I'm going, this guy's supposed to be a fucking cop. It didn't matter. I liked it. I got nuts.
That's fine.
Like, yeah,
George, we appreciate your I like it theory tonight. Yeah, I think listeners,
it's not a standard fare for me.
Let us know if George won with his, what is it, roll over like a hog snake and pretend you enjoyed it technique?
I think it was more of a dig a hole and stick my head directly in it for about an hour and 40 minutes. Pop up, put down a Dr. Pepper, head back in the hole, listen for the sounds of gunfire and elves killing people, pop back up and say, I don't see what the big deal was. That's pretty much what I did with this one. This is not standard fare for me. I don't know why. Once in a while, I get a movie like fucking Miracle Mile, Night of the Comet, just crap, movies that are, for all intents and purposes, some level of just crap, and I enjoy the hell out of it.
That's fine. You know? That I get it, and this movie did that for you.
Oh no, I ain't going here. And that said, I wouldn't put this movie anywhere near those two movies I just mentioned, Miracle Mile and Night of the Comet. It was just a Netflix movie that like hit a few buttons for me. There was a dragon. And I usually demand more from movies. For some reason, it's got to pass because it was just creative enough and just kind of fun enough.
As a listener, go read your Elric stories by Michael Moorcock.
Split Second, Rutger Hauer.
The Wizard of Earthsea.
That in this movie.
What?
That in this Split Second, which was a movie from the 90s with Rutger Hauer and Kim Cattrall.
Is that where they got the gangster outfits from?
It may have, actually. It was it's about Rutger Hauer plays this guy that an alien is. He's a bounty hunter and he's hunting an alien. I would go see Split Second.
That's George.
Go see Split Second and you'll understand, Kevin.
Understand you?
No, not at all. But you'll probably go.
You'll understand me? You'll understand Kevin.
You'll understand Rutger Hauer.
I understand Rutger Hauer.
Do you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not all Roy Batty.
Yeah, the Hitcher.
All right, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Blind Fury?
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, we brought Blind Fury. This is not the first time those words have been uttered into these mics.
No, we were old friends with Blind Fury.
Yeah.
And Split Second. So, Wizards of Earthsea. I am currently also reading, i.e. listening To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. And it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am currently reading the Anubis Gates. Anubis? How do you say his name?
I think it's Anubis.
The
but
Anubis
why does that
Gates
sound familiar?
by Tim Powers. Because I texted you and you told me you'd buy it and start listening to it.
That's what it was. Thank you. I meant to text you back because I deleted those things, but I didn't want to do that because then you would have said, "You asshole. Why don't you just..."
George, on the next episode, we'll talk about how far you like to take things, buddy.
Yeah.
I can tell. I think you don't even like this movie. I think you saw that I didn't like this movie and you said, you know what? I got to tell Kevin I liked it.
I was actually...
You're leading a double life.
Tell you, I was a little surprised that you didn't like this movie because you've got usually a little bit more of a... It was a movie and it did this or it didn't do this attitude. So for you to come on and like just flay it, I was surprised that you didn't like it.
Yeah,
I was,
and I'm surprised you liked it.
Well, what the fuck?
So, listener,
what are we gonna
do? What are we gonna do now?
Well,
I don't know.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with your new hosts,
Will Smith and David Orkney, Steve Gutenberg.
Will Smith and Steve Gutenberg.
David Orkney. Who is he?
Did you just take the word orc and add "knee" to the end?
I was thinking of David Hockney.
David Orkney.
Is he what is that? Good night, nurse.
Good night.